Okay, we are here today to review our purple belt, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. We obviously all know this song, first of all, because we've worked on it in class already, but because everybody knows Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So you should already know the tune, you should already know the basic rhythm, but let's take a look at our tas and tees just to be sure. So in our first line of music, there are four lines of music. In our first line of music, we have only tas and ta-ahs, and then we have our quarter rest. Remember that squiggly line is our quarter rest. And that's the same as our quarter note. It gets one beat, except a quarter rest gets one beat of silence, and a quarter note gets one beat of sound, which is our ta. Okay, so when we look at that, we're obviously going to say ta for our quarter notes, ta-ah for our half notes, two beats, two sounds, and then rest, one beat of silence for our quarter rest. Same thing for the second line of music. We have tas, we have ta-ahs, we have a quarter rest, and then we have our first group of tees. So most of the time in our recorder karate sheet music, we see our tees, our eighth notes, in groups of two. When we see two eighth notes that are connected by a bar on the top, that means that those two together are equal to a quarter note. So each eighth note is one half of a beat, and when you put them together in a group of two, one half plus one half is one beat, which is the same as our quarter note. That's also why our eighth notes or our tees go twice as fast, is because we have to fit two eighth notes in the same amount of space or the same amount of time as one quarter note. So they have to go twice as fast. Okay. Third line of music, we have lots of tees in this line in this line of our music. We have our quarter notes, ta. We have several groups of tees, t, t. If you look in the last measure, measure number 4 of line number 3, where it says everywhere a chick, chick, that group of eighth notes is in a group of 4. We have 4 eighth notes that are beamed together or barred together. It's the same thing as if there were two groups of 2. So 2 eighth notes every, and then another group of eighth notes where okay, 2 different groups of 2 eighth notes. It sounds exactly the same as one group of 4. Okay, so don't let that trick you. And then our last line of music is an exact repeat, almost exact repeat of our first line. The only difference is in the last measure, the E-I-E-I-O, on our fourth line of music is a dotted half note, and we've talked about dotted half notes, but we'll review those in just a second. So our last measure of our fourth line is a dotted half note, followed by a quarter rest, one beat of rest, and that's the only difference in the first line, last measure. We have a half note and then a quarter rest and a quarter note that leads into the next phrase. So at the end, we don't have that quarter note with the word and, because it's the end of our song. We don't need to lead into the next phrase. So let's talk about dotted half notes really quickly. You will remember that our dotted half note equals 3 beats. The reason that our dotted half note equals 3 beats is because our regular half note looks like this, okay? Regular half note, here, is that better? Regular half note equals 2 beats. Anytime we add a dot next to a note, it adds half of that note's value. So step 1, find the value. We've done that. The value is 2 because a half note gets 2 beats. Then that dot adds half of the value. Half of 2 is 1. So we're going to add 2 plus 1, obviously equals 3. So the dot adds half of the note's value. So a dotted half note equals 3 beats. Let's get started with step 1, chanting our tas and tees and ta-ahs and rests together at the beginning. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 rest. Ta, 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 rest. T, T, ta, 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 T, T, ta, 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 T, T, ta, T, T, ta, T, 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 ta, 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 rest. Just to make sure we have the rhythm really clear for this, I want to go back and speak the words. So the words are written there on the sheet music, but most of us, if not all of us, know the words already anyway. So let's speak the words in rhythm together. 1, 2, ready, speak. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, rest. And on that farm he had some chicks, E-I-E-I-O, rest. With a chick, chick here and a chick, chick there. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick, chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, rest. All right. So in this song, when we did this song originally, we learned how to play low D, low D. That's the only new note below the staff that we have. And then we also added our first line of our staff, which is E. We learned that in the last song. So for this song, we are adding D, and then we already know B, A, G, and E. So D is the space below the first line of our staff. We know that that's D, first of all, because we can just recognize it. We've done this enough. But initially, when we first learned low D, we found that low D was underneath the staff because it's right below the first line of our staff, which is E. And if we're going backwards in our alphabet, D comes right before E, so right below the line of E. We start on the note of G, second line of our staff, and then we go down to low D below our staff. So just to review our lines and spaces, we have E, every, G, good, B, boy, D, does, F, fine. And then we have our space notes F, A, C, E. For this song, we have D below the staff, which is technically a space. Then we have E on the first line, G on the second line, B on the third line, and then we have one space note, the note of A. Let us chant our letter names in rhythm together. 1, 2, ready, chant. G, 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 D, E, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, G, 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 D, E, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, D, G, 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 D, D, G, 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 D, E, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. Pick up your recorder. Let's practice our fingers. So for this song, we are adding low D. So remember to keep your thumb cued on the back of your recorder so that you're ready to just place your fingers down. Your hand is already in the correct position. So top to bottom, we have B, 1 finger and a thumb, A, 2 fingers and a thumb, G, 3 fingers and a thumb. Then we have E. Remember when we were talking about our recorder hand signs, E is our llama hand sign. So for E, we have our first finger and second finger down, and our next 2 fingers are up. So E, first finger and second finger, other 2 fingers are up. That's our llama hand sign. So 1, 2, 3 on top, 1, 2 on bottom. Left hand is playing the top notes, right hand is playing the bottom notes. And then D, remember D is our hang loose hand sign. So our first, second, and third fingers are down on the recorder. 1, 2, 3 on top, 1, 2, 3 on bottom. Okay? Practicing fingers together, we start on the letter G. Again, make sure your thumb stays cued on the back of your recorder so that you're ready to place your bottom hand fingers down when we get there. In rhythm, starting on G. 1, 2, ready, speak. G, 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 D, E, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, D, G, 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 D, D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. Beautiful. Because we are getting into a little bit more challenging level in these songs, even though we've done this song before and this is just a review, I want to go back and practice each note individually. So we go back to the beginning and we start on G. We have G, G, G. From G to D, we're going to go all the way down to our hang loose hand sign. So all three of these fingers are on bottom for low D. And then D to E, we're just going to take off that bottom finger. D, E, D, E. Okay? And then from E, we're going to go back down to D. Easy peasy. So D, E, D. We're going from D all the way up to the top of our recorder, one finger and a thumb. So you're going to take off your bottom fingers, make sure you leave your thumb cued on the back, and then you're going to take off your middle finger and third finger so that we're going up to just our first finger and a thumb. So we're going from low D to B, one finger, and then down to A and down to G. Okay? After G, we have our quarter rest, and then we're going to start the next phrase on D. The word there is and at the very end of that first line. So we're going from G, we have a rest. Don't forget to put your tongue on the tip of your recorder for the rest to make sure we don't have any sound. And then we're coming down to low D, adding those three fingers, and then right back up to G at the beginning of the second line of music. G, 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 D, E, D, all the way up to B, A, G, rest, and we're going to come back to D again, except this time at the end of the second line of music, we have our T's, so they go twice as fast. D, D, G. Do it again, G, G, G. And then the rest of that third line of music is all G's. The important thing here is to make sure that your tongue is touching the tone hole or tongue hole each time you see a different note. So if you were saying the word two, it would be two, 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 two. Okay? Make sure we can hear each individual note since it's all the same fingering. It's all the same letter name. Okay? And then third line of music, we have G, 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 D, E, D, all the way up to B, A, and we end on G. I have a crying kid upstairs. All right, let us do it in rhythm together again one more time. 1, 2, ready, speak. G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, D, G, 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 D, D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. We are ready to play. We're going to play this 2 times. First time I'm going to speak the letter names while you play, and then the second time I'll play with you. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. G, 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 D, E, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. D, D, G, 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 D, D, G, 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 D, E, D, B, B, A, G, rest. Last time, let's play together. 1, 2, ready, play. All right. If you needed to earn your purple belt, if you missed it last time, send me a video. Just like always, I'll send you your certificate. See you next time.